With Halloween Fest approaching, there are ghosts and goblins in the air. Well, at least the papier-mâché variety. But in England, there's one ancient site where spirits and apparitions from the past seem to hang around all year long. It's Berry Pomeroy Castle, and it's earned the title of Great Britain's most haunted landmark.
The whole thing really about this place is amazing, the ghosts that occur here.
We had a strange feeling there was something wrong. It just started getting pretty weird.
It's always been very still, as though you're waiting for something to happen.
You learn to control your imagination, because at Berry Pomeroy, if you let your imagination run away with you, you could be a raving lunatic.
In its heyday, Berry Pomeroy Castle hosted princes, kings, and crusaders. And since 1688, no one has wanted to live within these walls. Visitors say there's something evil inside.
It sounded like this.
Ghostly shrieks are heard, ghoulish apparitions are seen, and photographs have captured the dark side of the castle. The crumbling walls of this once great fortress are perched above the desolate moors that blanket southern England. It is a land of ancient superstitions, defiled tombs, and long-abandoned graveyards.
It's just brooding and evil. The evil is there in the atmosphere.
But is it only atmosphere? Sightings has teamed up with Tony Cornell, Great Britain's premier paranormal investigator, for the first in-depth study ever conducted at Berry Pomeroy Castle.
In my view, it's one of the most interesting cases I think I've come across, basically because so many people have seen things and felt things. You don't get that in all hauntings. You can waste a lot of time, but there's enough evidence that I've heard that we've got to examine this.
Cornell's first step was to gather historical and anecdotal data. He sought out historian Derek Seymour, who has studied the ghostly presences here for more than 70 years.
Every day I thought of this castle. If it was a lovely sunny day, I used to think, I wonder what it's looking like at the castle today. If there was a thunderstorm and the wind was howling, I used to think, oh, I wouldn't like to be at the castle today. Oh, no. The best-known ghost here is the White Lady. And the White Lady is, of course, the unfortunate Lady Margaret, who is seen to walk at the top of the stairs in that tower and down in the dungeon. She is really quite frequently seen.
Folklore tells of two sisters in love with the same man. Lady Margaret, the younger and more beautiful of the two, was imprisoned in the castle's dungeon by her jealous sister. There, she starved to death. Modern-day visitor Anne Benny recalls her encounter with the White Lady.
When we first went down the stairs into the chamber, it was dark, it was damp, and it wasn't a nice place to be. But then this evil presence, you could sense it was evil. I don't know how to describe it any other way, really. And then I heard the footsteps, very quick, very light. And the closer she got, the more panic-stricken I felt. I just wanted to get out of the place and not come back.
Tony Cornell walked the castle grounds with Jack Hazard, the former master stonemason of Berry Pomeroy. It was while working here in 1986 that Hazard captured what many consider the most authentic photographic evidence of a ghostly presence here.
It started to rain, and the wind started to blow, and I thought there was something happening unusual. So I got the disc camera out and I took 5 or 6 shots. And on 5 of the prints, white shapes came out. Whatever they were, I've no idea, but it was a most unusual Sunday morning.
Sightings also heard stories of a haunting Blue Lady. She is thought to be the spirit of a 14th century Pomeroy who was raped by her father and then bore his child. Legend has it that she murdered the child in a fit of shame and rage.
And this unfortunate child was strangled by the mother, who did not want it, of course. Now, she's quite frequently seen. She's very evil, and people don't like the sight of her at all.
Visitors Simon Day and Tim King believe the apparition they saw on a trip to the castle was the Blue Lady.
What we saw was a figure of an elderly woman. She had a blue dress on, but you could see directly through her, and she was just staring at us. And this noise started.
But when you look in the direction where it actually happened, you can't see a thing. There was nothing there.
It screeched and stopped, and within a second it was in the bush next to us.
There was this really amazing screech.
It scared the hell out of us.
And they felt there that there was a power far stronger than themselves, and became absolutely terrified and went.
Terror also enveloped psychic investigator Bob Dolby, and it would not go away.
I was conducting an investigation expecting nothing at all. I was about to leave when just by the rampart walls and the stairs leading down I saw this huge black cloud, and to me it seemed probably the hugest and blackest, deepest thing I'd ever seen.
Dolby claims the black cloud, what he terms the evil entity, trailed him through the castle, then followed him back to his house nearby. That same night he tried to use a Ouija board to make contact with the terrifying presence.
Is there anybody there? Aye. Yes. The glass moved erratically around the board, which was very unusual at the time. And then she made herself known. She popped up. Isabel? She struck us as a very evil little girl.
Through the Ouija board, they met a little girl named Isabel, who revealed that she was the bastard child of a disinherited Pomeroy from the 17th century. The Dolbys believe she spoke through the board and then actually appeared hours later in the Dolby bedroom.
I actually went to bed early and left the group downstairs experimenting with the Ouija board, and actually had the experience of somebody sitting on the back of my legs while I was lying on the bed. Thinking it was Bob messing about, I told him to get off, turned round, and it was actually a little girl with just a manic grin on her face.
Well, they both came to see me the next afternoon. They were so terrified. And I can tell you that they were frozen with shock.
There are hundreds of stories like these, all pointing to a bizarre force that permeates these ancient limestone walls. For Tony Cornell, these subjective accounts demand an objective investigation.
To me, this is probably, I go farther and say it is, the most haunted castle in England. I'm glad you brought me here. You're opening my eyes, and I think that I should go back and suggest that we get in touch with British Heritage and that we do a serious investigation over a period of time.
There is something pretty potent here. There's a very evil force, and if ever you encounter it on going to Berry Pomeroy, get out quick.
Based on the preliminary findings of our investigation, Tony Cornell believes that Berry Pomeroy Castle deserves a full-scale, long-term study. The problem is access. British Heritage, the trustees of Berry Pomeroy Castle, are not believers and so far have denied all requests for an intensive investigation.